Yesterday, Donald Trump said that I should be arrested. He said that I should be deported. He said that I should be denaturalized. More so because he wants to distract from what I fight for. I fight for working people. What I fear for is that if this is what Donald Trump and his administration feel comfortable about saying about the Democratic nominee for the mayor of New York City, imagine what they feel comfortable saying and doing about immigrants whose names they don't even know. And to do all of those things while collaborating with a Trump administration that is seeking to attack the very fabric of this city. Thank you all so much. It is such a pleasure to be here today. And I have to thank Rich for hosting us. I have to ask, is HTC in the house? It is an honor to be standing alongside Manny. Is 32BJ in the house? And to be here alongside Nancy is Neisner in the house. And alongside Brendan, representing a labor federation of 1 million workers. It is such an honor. And I truly thank you. I would say, are you in the house? And here you are. To stand here alongside these unions, it's especially meaningful for me because this entire campaign has been about ensuring that this city, the most expensive city in the United States of America, finally become affordable for the working New Yorkers who make it so special. And to take on inequality, we know the most effective tool is union density. And so to stand here alongside some of the most incredible unions I have ever had the privilege of knowing and working with, it is an honor. For me as a person, it is an honor for this campaign, and it is an honor for this movement to finally make this city affordable. And we stand here today with these endorsements, reflecting on the results of yesterday. Results where we saw that more than 545,000 New Yorkers gave us a mandate to make this city affordable. And I say the word mandate because this was the most votes any movement has received in 36 years in mayoral elections. A mandate because we won this election by 12 points after just 3 rounds. And a mandate because New Yorkers deserve nothing less than a city where they do more than just struggle. A city where they can return to the dreams that brought them here in the first place. And we see this moment where, as Brendan was saying, the choice we have in front of us, we see a very different choice being taken in Washington, D.C. As we look at legislation that just passed the Senate, legislation that is a betrayal of working class Americans from coast to coast, legislation that seeks to steal from the hungry, to cut health care from the workers, all to aid those who already have more money than they know what to do with. And legislation that is being done by the direction of a president who claims to fight for working people. And we know that in this moment, it is up to us in this city to show that we can not only fight back against authoritarianism, but we can also fight for working people. And we do those things together because we understand that democracy is under attack from both. It is under attack from Washington, D.C., and it's under attack from within as more and more working people have greater and greater doubts as to whether their needs can actually be met by this politics. And we stand here today to say yes, we can do both of those things. We can do them in the same way that Fiorello LaGuardia fought for immigrants and fought for dignity at the same time. And we can do them even in contrast to that which we have seen pass for leadership here in this city. Because as I stand here alongside our ever-expanding coalition, I am confident of not only winning a city hall that puts working people first, but finally bringing an end to the chapter in our city, led by our current mayor, to raise rents on those same New Yorkers, to price those same New Yorkers out of this city, and to do all of those things while collaborating with a Trump administration that is seeking to attack the very fabric of this city. And I say that also as someone who came to this city and this country at the age of 7, who grew up in this city, who fell in love with this city, who got married in this city, who got my citizenship in this city. And those same blocks I used to love, the ones between Federal Plaza and the clerk's office, those are the same blocks now today where so many New Yorkers say goodbye to their loved ones and they don't know for how long. We are going to fight for every single one of those New Yorkers, and we are going to do so because they deserve that from their city government. And in this moment, New Yorkers deserve a leader that will continue to look forward, will continue to expand this coalition, will never be satisfied with the idea of winning an election, but rather leading a city. Though we may have won on Tuesday, though we will continue to fight to win in November, we will look to represent every single New Yorker, whether they voted for me, whether they voted for someone else, or whether they didn't vote at all because of their lack of faith in this political system. I will be your leader, and I will lead you to a city that you can afford, a city that you will be safe in, and a city that will finally show what politics can look like, and that it can be more than just a mirror of what we see in DC, and it can instead build on the incredible accomplishments and achievements of organized labor for so many years in this city, and there's no greater partner in doing so than these incredible unions today. Thank you so much.
We have time for two on-topic questions.
I don't think anyone can hear you.
We have time for two on-topic questions. Josie?
You know, I appreciated when Andrew Cuomo called me last Tuesday evening and conceded this race. And he told me what he then shared with others, which was the campaign we had built had connected with people across this city. And I told him what I've said since, which is that I'm looking to unite this city, to unite this party, to look forward. I leave the decisions of who will or will not run up to them. But what I have appreciated is the fact that this coalition continues to expand each and every day. And it continues to reach out across the 5 boroughs to New Yorkers to make clear that this is a vision for every single person. And I'm so excited to be here with just one example of that expansion.
Hi, Assembly Member. 2 questions. Very quickly, the first is about your free bus proposal. Have you made any inroads in the funding for it? And if you wanted to speak briefly about why buses, I know sometimes they're overlooked in these larger transit plans. And my second question is President Trump's Homeland Security Council today just discussed you as a national security threat and suggested the federal government to take action against you. I guess this is off what the president said yesterday. Do you plan to take any steps to shield yourself from aggressive oversight? That could happen, and if so, what are they?
So I'll start with the buses. You know, a few years ago, my then Chief of Staff, now Campaign Manager, L. Bisgard Church, and I started a listening tour with transit experts, advocates, and the MTA itself. And it was in a meeting with senior officials at the MTA where someone remarked to me that if you really cared about equity, you would focus first on the buses. And it was a suggestion, and I took it to heart, because what it spoke to is the fact that bus riders are disproportionately working class across these 5 boroughs. There are more than 1 million New Yorkers who ride them every day. And these are the slowest buses in the country. When I am late and I'm getting off of the train and I'm walking up the steps, I'm walking faster than that bus. The average speed is 8 miles an hour. In parts of Manhattan, it's lower than 6. And what New Yorkers deserve is a way to get around this city that makes sense. And they deserve a system that is reliable, that is safe, that is efficient. And as an assembly member who, alongside the Deputy Majority Leader Mike Gianaris in the state Senate, won the first fare-free bus pilot, we saw that in making a bus free, it wasn't just economic relief. It was that ridership then went up by up to 38%. It was public safety, as assaults on bus drivers went down by 38.9%. And it was also a question of the environmental impacts, as 11% of new riders got out of a car or a taxi and got onto the bus. One of the many things that makes me proud to be a New Yorker is public transit. And as I speak to New Yorkers across the 5 boroughs, I hear their desire for world-class public transit. And to make a bus free is to take one significant step towards that. And I'm excited to work with Governor Hochul, who has been laser focused on the question of affordability, and with the MTA in identifying the revenue that will pay for this and in actually bringing it into effect such that every New Yorker can benefit from what we already saw those 5 routes bring about. Yesterday, Donald Trump said that I should be arrested. He said that I should be deported. He said that I should be denaturalized. And he said those things about me, someone who stands to be the first immigrant mayor of this city in generations, someone who would also be the first Muslim and the first South Asian mayor in this city's history. Less so because of who I am, because of where I come from, because of how I look or how I speak, and more so because he wants to distract from what I fight for. I fight for working people. I fight for the very people that have been priced out of this city, and I fight for the same people that he said he was fighting for. This is the same president who ran on a campaign of cheaper groceries, who ran on a campaign about easing a suffocating cost of living crisis. And ultimately, it is easier for him to fan the flames of division than to acknowledge the ways in which he has betrayed those working class Americans, not just in this city, but across this country, and the ways in which he continues to betray them. Because we know that he would rather speak about me than speak about the legislation that he is shepherding through Washington, D.C. Legislation that will quite literally take health care away from Americans. Legislation that will steal food from the hungry. Legislation that looks to build upon one of the largest transfers of wealth we've seen in recent history in his first administration and do it once again for the very Americans who already have enough. We should be fighting for those that do not have what they need to live a dignified life. That is what I will do, and I am thankful to have the protection and to have the support of so many New Yorkers who have stood up and said how unacceptable this is, including our governor, including members of the labor movement. And ultimately what I fear for is that if this is what Donald Trump and his administration feel comfortable about saying about the Democratic nominee for the mayor of New York City, imagine what they feel comfortable saying and doing about immigrants whose names they don't even know.
He's a convicted felon.
It's both unsurprising and quite sad to see the mayor of this city, the same city where 40% of New Yorkers were born elsewhere, find it beyond himself to defend the very citizenship of someone running for that position. I do not need Eric Adams to agree with me, but to have this be beyond the pale, it showcases the ways in which he has sacrificed the city and all that we stand for in the interests of himself. And this is part and parcel of the way in which he has responded to these very attacks. I had a Republican city council member call for me to be deported. The mayor refused to denounce that as well. And what concerns me is that we know that these are threats that invite further threats by others. I have received death threats on myself, on my family, and I'm thankful for the NYPD and the work that they do to keep each and every New Yorker safe. And yet I also know that leaders have a responsibility to bring down the temperature in this city, to unite all of us in this city. And we have a mayor who is doing exactly the opposite. Thank you.
Thank you.